Our top story this Tuesday, House Democrats have launched a broad inquiry into controversies surrounding President Trump. The House Judiciary Committee sent 81 letters requesting documents from agencies, individuals, and others, including the president's closest family members. The probe focuses on possible obstruction of justice, corruption, and abuse of power. President Trump says he's not worried, and White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders called the House investigation a fishing expedition. Continuing our coverage, union refinery workers at Billings ExxonMobil voted on a new deal Monday after a tentative agreement was reached over the weekend. The two sides have been negotiating for more than a month after workers rejected the offer. Exxon made some key revisions in this latest agreement, which the company called its best and final offer. Those include grandfathering pay rates for senior operators, clarifying timing of changing shift teams, and adding language to discuss situations where employees could lose pay because they're not allowed to bid for higher paying posts. Company officials tell us the contract will be finalized in the coming days. ExxonMobil public affairs manager Dan Carter tells Q2 that the negotiations process can sometimes take extra time and work, but the company and union bargained in good faith and reached an agreement that is an important step forward. Elsewhere, Westmoreland Coal Company now has the green light to sell its assets, including the mine that feeds the Colstrip power plants. This is all a part of the company's Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings. The company expects to complete transactions associated with its financial restructuring by the end of March, which marks the end of the first quarter. However, this isn't necessarily a dark spot for Colstrip because the new owners of the Rosebud mine say they will continue to sell to Colstrip through 2019. Westmoreland Coal first filed for bankruptcy in October of 2018. The Billings Public Works Department unveiled its latest plans to move trash cans from the alley to more curbside containers. On Monday night, Public Works Director Dave Mumford told the City Council crews will replace around 300 large alley trash cans with smaller curbside trash cans. But the city will keep about 1,000 large garbage bins to service multifamily and commercial areas. Ultimately, Mumford says the change is for safety to help with some operational issues and will help save money. Public Works will send a letter to affected residents 4 weeks before making the change in their neighborhood. Billings firefighters aren't getting a break from the cold weather as they were called on to battle flames at a garage Monday night. They knocked out the blaze at 44 Washington Street within 20 minutes. Damages are estimated at $60,000. No one was inside of the garage when the fire started and no injuries were reported. Deputy Fire Marshal Andrew McLean says the fire was caused by combustible too close to a wood stove. Billings police are investigating the death of a 41-year-old woman. She was found at an apartment on North 24th Street over the weekend. Officers wouldn't say if the matter was criminal, but they did confirm they are investigating. They plan on releasing more details later today. Now going on special assignment, catchy political slogans are nothing new to the American political scene, as the perfect political slogan can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Q2's Jay Cohn brings us a story on Montana's political past and how a catchphrase from the 1968 Montana governor's race stopped a statewide sales tax in its tracks.
Most Montanans know that we don't have a state sales tax, but few know why. For more than half a century, the state legislature has flirted with the idea of a general sales tax. In fact, twice it was put on the ballot for a vote of the people, and twice it was soundly rejected. That outcome so decisive that even to this very day, the idea of a general sales tax is pretty much dead on arrival in Montana.
83-year-old Jim Graff has been at the heart of many ad campaigns over the years.
Layout, design, and sales.
His marketing career has included stints with the Billings Gazette and most recently Campgrounds of America. Back in 1968, Graff was working at Sage Advertising in Helena when he suddenly found himself talking with Democratic Attorney General Forrest Anderson.
He says, well, I've made my mind up. I'm going to run for governor. And I said, well, we'd like to help you out and make it happen. We played up the fact that he was a good-looking guy. He looked like up close, he looked like a movie star.
Still, though, Anderson found himself the underdog in the race against incumbent Governor Tim Babcock. Just a few months earlier, faced with a looming budget shortfall, Babcock had proposed that the legislature enact a 2% general sales tax. And although that sales tax bill failed, the topic remained the hot issue of the day. Anderson wanted to make it clear to voters where he stood.
Leadership to develop state revenues from the present tax structure through increased economic growth.
We need less state government and a better administration for the taxpayer dollar.
Anderson's campaign also needed a catchy slogan. Babcock was using "Win with Tim," and Graff knew he had his work cut out for him.
It just came right out of my head, but here it was, right in front of me, 4 words: pay more, what for?
It definitely had all the makings of a great campaign slogan: short, sweet, to the point, and it rhymed.
While our taxes soar, we ask, pay more, what more?
It hits at the heart of Tim's campaign. I knew that we had a winner, but I'm not a salesman by any aspects, and I wasn't sure that I could sell that to Forrest. But he says, Jim, he says, you do what you and Bob think need to be done to win, for me to win this thing. And if you think you've got a catchy slogan, you go ahead and do it.
Pay more, what for left its mark. Babcock's campaign could not distance itself from the issue, and Forrest Anderson swept to victory, upsetting the incumbent governor by a stunning 14 points. To this day, it's the last time a sitting governor was defeated in Montana. In his biography, Babcock acknowledged that his support for the sales tax cost him the election, and in his words, quote, ended my political career as such.
2 years later, the state's ongoing funding woes had the sales tax issue front and center again. And after struggling through no less than 3 special sessions, state lawmakers decided to put the issue on the ballot for a vote of the people. Was the outcome a foregone conclusion? That part of our story tomorrow night. In Billings, Jay Cohn, MTN News.
And you can see part 2 that Jay just mentioned tonight on the evening news. In other news, more and more former Montana foster kids are heading off to college. Each year, about 60 young adults age out of the foster care system in the state. To help with that transition, the Education and Training Voucher Program provides resources to aid with their education. This year, the state saw a 70% increase in the numbers of enrolled students, with many pursuing bachelor's degree in post-secondary education. Gabrielle Wheeler is one of them.
I feel blessed. Honestly, I know the idea of foster care, especially while you're in it, is kind of traumatic or exhausting, to be honest. It helped me see that I can further myself than what my biological parents did or what my experience was in foster care.
Wheeler is pursuing a degree in social work. She hopes one day to help others who are in a similar situation. Back here in Billings, the airport is now offering free Wi-Fi. Officials with Billings Logan made the announcement Monday. Wireless services will be available for free throughout the entire airport. Previously, patrons had to buy passes to access the Wi-Fi. Those are still available if travelers want even faster internet. Northwestern Energy is reminding customers to be aware of utility scams. Northwestern is a member of a group called Utilities United Against Scams that's made up of U.S. and Canadian companies working to prevent scams targeting utility customers. In 2018, the group helped shut down more than 2,000 toll-free numbers used by scammers. Signs of a scam include threats to disconnect. A scammer may tell the customer their utility bill is past due and service will be disconnected if payment is not made, often within less than an hour. Scammers frequently tell victims to purchase prepaid cards to make payments on their utility bill. Thank you so much.